I thought I'd do a short recording. Sometimes reading loads of words gets a little bit tiresome, doesn't it? So I thought I'd try a video and just put some more information out about anxiety, because especially in this coronavirus kind of time, um, it seems, and it's even been reported in the news and various other places, anxiety is really, really high at the moment. And, there's many different reasons for it. But I thought it might be useful to just kind of revisit that. I put the blog out last week, and this is just a development of the thoughts that I had there, really, but with the addition of what I've called 4 fast fixes that I hope will be useful to you guys in the group. So, first of all, just to kind of give you a little bit of background and just put anxiety in a context, really. First of all, it's an emotion, and emotions they're neither good nor bad. We talk about positive emotions and negative emotions, but actually, they're just emotions. And we use them, they're fuel. We use them to help us move forward. Emotion, it's all there in the word, right? So they are what lets us move through life. And the reason why we have lots of different ones, I'm sure you can think of many: happy, sad, depressed, excited. We have loads. And the reason we have lots of different ones is because we need lots of different ways of being able to move. So if you're happy, you move in a much different way. And I don't just mean, dancing, but, we move towards people who, when we're happy, with a view to kind of connecting with people or to sharing nice things. Whereas with anger, we might move towards them, but it's more a case of, get out of my way, or stop doing that thing that I don't like. So we need lots of different ones, and anxiety is just another one of those emotions. It's what actually is called a threat detector. So it's really, really useful, and we need it in case of danger, because that threat detecting system lets us know if we've got to get ready to fight or to flee. So we do need it. Our bodies need it, because when we feel anxiety, it alerts our bodies. Our adrenaline system starts walloping out the adrenaline, and our heart rate goes up, our eyesight gets clearer. Not so much when you're old, perhaps, but it's there. Digestion slows down because we don't really need that when we're running or fighting. Muscles get pumped up with more blood and oxygen, and your blood pressure gets higher, and various other things as well. But that, the point being that this threat detection system that is anxiety is there to get us ready for fighting or running away from whatever the danger is. But there's a couple of other things that we need to know. One of them is that our bodies, or our threat detection system, cannot distinguish the level of threat. So it gives us the same reaction as it would have done to a saber-toothed tiger. It gives us the same level of reaction when we're worrying about having to give a speech in front of an audience, or if we've got to go to work and we know we did something wrong yesterday and we're just worried that somebody's found out about that mistake, or we're worried about how our children are going to react when we take their phones away because they were not doing what they were supposed to. Any number of reasons. But there we go. There's this kind of anxiety, and it's neither good nor bad, and it can't also help us with the judging of the level of threat. The other thing to know about it is when we go into fight-flight mode, that's the kind of much more old part of the brain. That's the kind of more primitive part, which doesn't have a lot of the thinking. That comes from the front of your brain here. So there's no measurement or logical thinking about anxiety. We have to re-engage that part of our brain if we want to do that. So we get anxious, and we can either go one of two ways. One way is fear, and fear is really good at ramping up those physical feelings and the sense of danger. And then the other side is caution. And if we can, anxiety is a bit like a kid in a party. If you just let them go, they're going to go and have a bit of everything. They're going to eat all the food. They're going to run around, try sipping someone's drink that they've put down, which can be not good, and generally is going to not end well, right? But if you can be cautious, so you're aware of the anxiety, you know what's going on, you're keeping an eye on it, and you're actually kind of holding it without rigidity, but holding it sort of gently. And caution is good. We've got studies, there's all sorts of studies that show that anxiety is a good thing. It can actually, up to a point, it can actually help performance. So it can help us do stuff that we need to do at a really good level because of that little bit of anxiety, if it's a little bit. And that's what we've got to do, is to learn to be aware of it, because then we can be in control. But these 4 fixes are hopefully going to help you do that. And that will bring the levels of anxiety down, because you will be feeling more in control. So tip number 1, what am I doing? Normally, when we start feeling anxious, we're looking around, wondering what everybody else is doing, and not actually paying attention to what we're up to. So what I'd like you to do is to look only at what you're doing. So be aware and break that down, not just go, oh my goodness, it's a disaster, but look at the small bits of action that you are taking, or that you need to take, that you would like to take. Tip number 2, what would your hero do? This is a useful and can be quite fun and creative. If you think, of what your your hero is 007, how would he handle it? What would he say in this situation, in the situation that you find yourself in? What would he do? I mean, probably we don't need to go around punching people or swinging from very high scaffolding or those kind of very strange things. But how would he handle another person? What clever thing would he say, or would he walk away? Those kind of things. Or you might have a more everyday hero. It might be, your granny, or, your dad's brother, Uncle Tom, who used to be a really good role model for you. That's the kind of person and the kind of thing that you can kind of just borrow something from. And what I like to call that acting as if. Sometimes we call it fake it till you make it, but personally I think as soon as you put fake it into your brain, part of your brain, the anxious part, is going, oh my God, I'm a fake, I'm an imposter. And then we get imposter syndrome coming really high. So this one is acting as if you were Uncle Tom, who was really good at calming ruffled feathers, or, coming out with the right thing to say, and he knew how to handle people. So there's a couple of ideas. Tip number 3, this is change state. Now that sounds like a bit weird, but actually what that means is clapping, doing something that moves you, moves this body around as well, and moves your the anxious feelings, the physicalness of those feelings. So one thing that we've talked about before, I know, is just a sigh, just a big, deep sigh. And a lot of people may know this already, but when you feel anxious sometimes and panicky, particularly, people will say, take a big, deep breath, you'll be fine. But if you have ever felt that anxiety and panic, you'll know that what happens is you breathe very shallow and you get very rapid breathing going on, which is not good for you because it makes you feel very dizzy because you get no oxygen. But what you've got to do before you can get anything in is to let everything out. So a big deep sigh lets you deflate. It lets all that tension go as well. All the muscles in your chest and your neck and your shoulders can let go. So do that, and then you can take a big deep breath. Okay. Other things you can do is just anything like this, or just rub or pat. Sometimes I do this, not hard, but just a little bit. So there's those sort of things that help you to kind of, okay, just almost reboot your brain and your thinking where you are at the moment. And lastly, tip number 4, that's about focusing on the now. What do I need to do? What's the next right thing? And it's not the next right thing, right? It's the next right thing. Just a little something. What's the next one action that I can do that's okay, that I know is right, to move forward in the direction that I think I need to go. If it turns out to be not quite the right direction, you can course correct. But if you're stuck in one position, you can't move forward, then that's going to make the anxiety go up higher. And as soon as you take a step, the anxiety levels come down. It's amazing how fast it works, but it does. So have a go at those. Leave us some comments. I'm sure that if I'm not around, Maria will be around, and between us, we'd be really happy to hear your reactions and what you think about these ideas. Challenge me, I don't mind, it's great. Okay, anyway, have a good rest of the day and catch up soon. Thank you.